Today we are going to look at 17.2, adding polynomial expressions. We are going to skip over the Explorer, so turn in your book to page 818 and we will start with Explain 1. So this is just a method for adding polynomials. It's going to be using a vertical format. We're going to write them in standard form. Then we are going to line them up vertically, and then we are going to add them together. So standard form, aligning like terms, and then add the coefficients. So it's a three-step process. Should be fairly straightforward once we get into it. Alright, so example 1. We have two polynomials that we are adding together. We are going to write them in a vertical format and get them to then add them together to find the sum. Make sure they are in standard form. If you remember back from Friday, that is writing them in order of the most highest order exponents to the lowest. So 5x squared plus 2x minus 1, it will go in that order. Line the x squareds above each other. Line the x's above each other. And line the numbers above each other. Then go through, add the coefficients. 5 plus 4 is 9. 2 plus a negative 1 is 1, and negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So that simplifies it to 9x squared plus x plus 1. Alright. Part B, we're going to do this a little differently because they don't have all of the same values of their exponents. So we're going to write them and vertically align them. 3y squared plus, there aren't any y squareds in the first one, so that's a 0y squared, plus 2y plus 1. So that's our first polynomial. Our second polynomial, there aren't any y cubes, so that's 0y cubed. There's 1y squared, and there aren't any y terms, so it's 0y, and then plus a negative 1. Okay, now we add them vertically. 3 plus 0 is 3y squared. 0y squared plus y squared is y squared. We don't have to have the 1 out front, but you can include it if you want to. 2y plus 0y is 2y. And 1 plus a negative 1 is 0. So we simplify that. We can get rid of things that we don't need. And we can rewrite this as 3y cubed plus y squared plus 2y. Alright. Do the reflect and the your turn, and we'll go over them in a minute. Alright. So for the your turn, number 3, we're going to add them vertically. Negative x squared minus or plus, there isn't an x term, so plus 0x minus 1. And then we have 4x squared and minus x and then plus 0. So add the coefficients, 4x and a negative 1, that's 3x squared. And 0x minus x is minus x, and negative 1 plus 0 is minus 1. Alright. Okay, so I lined these up for you. Negative z to the third power plus 2z to the third power. If we bring those, add those coefficients together, 2 plus a negative 1 makes it 1z cubed. 0z squared minus z squared is minus z squared. Negative 2z plus 2z is 0z. And negative 1 plus 0 is minus 1. So simplifying that, we can rewrite that. It's just 1z cubed, so we can just write z cubed minus z squared minus 1. All right, and the last one, 4x, or x minus 1, 4x minus 6, x plus 4x is 5x, and negative 1 minus 6 is minus negative 7. Okay. Now the other method, adding them using a horizontal format. You can also group them together with as like terms, combine the like terms, and add their coefficients, and then simplify at the end. All right. So in this first example, 5x squared and negative 4x squared are like terms. 2x and negative x are like terms. We can group them together. And the numbers 1 and negative 2 are like terms. We can group them together. All right, so this is just grouping them together to keep track of them. All right, we get 5x squared minus 4x squared. That's just x squared. 2x minus x is just x. And 1 minus 2 is negative 1. All right, for part B, group them together and then combine our like terms. So we have A, B, they're both to the same power. They are like terms. We have B, and we have A. So remember, like terms have to have the same variables to the same powers. All right, so when we combine our like terms, group them, minus AB plus AB plus B, that's the only one with just a B, and plus a negative A. When we combine our like terms, negative AB plus AB is 0. 0 plus B plus a negative A. We can simplify that and rewrite that just as B minus A. All right. Try the your turns, 6, 7, and 8. We will go over them in just a little bit. Okay, I've highlighted the like terms, group them, add them together. Negative 6x squared minus 4x squared. Add those two coefficients together, you get negative 10. So negative 10x squared plus 2. All right, combine and group our like terms. So in the second one, the x cubes are grouped together. We get negative 5x cubed plus y plus x plus 2. And the last one, group your y's together. Y plus 3y is 4y. And negative 7 plus 18 is 11. So 4y plus 11. All right, and our last little bit, looking at modeling, we can look at some real world type problems. They have equations for profit in a box factory. They own 2 factories and they have different profits represented with each factory. So they can figure out the total profit by adding those 2 profits together. And since they have two different equations, and x is the number of boxes that each produces, we can add our profits together to find our overall polynomial. So you can do either the vertical alignment or the horizontal alignment, whatever works for you, whatever one you prefer. Group them together as like terms from each of the two equations. So we have our x squared terms, we have our x terms, and we have our number terms. All right, group them in each individual group. Then you're going to combine your coefficients, combining those like terms. So negative 0.03 plus minus 0.04 gives us negative 0.07x squared, 20x plus 25x, 45x, and minus 1500. So the overall equation is listed there. If they open a third factory with a new projected profit, we can add that profit in as well to see what the new overall polynomial would be. So take our previous overall profit, and then we're going to add the new profit. So that's going to look like negative 0.07x squared plus 45x minus 1500 plus negative 0.03x squared plus 50x minus 100. All right, we're going to add those two. We can group them together. Negative 0.07x squared plus a negative 0.03x squared. Then our 45x plus 50x. And finally our numbers, negative 1500 plus negative 100. We got our like terms combined. We can add them together. We'll get negative 0.1x squared plus 95x minus 1600. All right, so that's our total projected profit. Based on those polynomials that we were given. All right. I want you to do the first year turn, well, 10 and 11 on the year turns, and we will go over them in a minute. Okay, so I grouped our like terms again, t squared plus t squared, 4t plus 2t, and 4 plus 4. Add those all up, and you should get the answer there. Same thing over here. Group your like terms together. The 3x squared plus 5x squared, the 7x plus a negative 4x. Be careful that you're keeping your signs together, and negative 5 and 11. Add them all up, combine your like terms. You should get 8x squared plus 3x plus 6. As an assignment for this section, do page 823, 4 through 7, 9, 10, 12 and 15.